Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Jamie, aka Rick here, bringing you part 42 of my GTA4 Let's Play. In this episode, as you can see, I got to the escort mission, which says, basically, I've got to get this political figure to a big meeting, and he's going to give a speech, and there's people that obviously don't want that to happen for whatever reason. So I have to protect him. I'm actually driving him at the moment. We get ambushed in a roadblock area. I have to get out, take down loads of people, get back in the car, escape some people chasing us down. I eventually get him there. So you know, this goes reasonably well. Don't fail the mission, so that's always good. After that, going back to see Mr. Gravelli, still in hospital at this point. He wants me to kill a Chinese man named Kim. Not exactly sure why, I can't remember. But yeah, it's a big shootout at a Chinese restaurant, so yeah, it goes pretty well. And then after that, Roman gives me a call as I'm going to the next mission, saying he's getting married, which is pretty cool news. And obviously, I'm invited to the wedding, so that'll be in future episodes. I think it's quite near the end of the story, so look forward to that though. It's pretty good. It's pretty good to finally see Roman settle down with this woman that he's liked for ages, and actually get something he wants. So that's pretty cool. After that phone call, I go and see Bernie. He wants to go on a boat trip for some reason. Yeah, just have some fun. But we end up getting ambushed by some Russians, who actually turn out to be some of Dimitri's men. So you know, it's not too good. We keep getting harassed by him. There's the blackmailers, and now this. It's probably linked closely, because he knows, Dimitri now knows that I'm with Bernie, so you know he might be following him, see if he can get to me. But it doesn't work. A bit like I chase him down in my boat, shooting at him. Eventually, I blow up their boat, and it all ends well. So it goes pretty smoothly. So that's pretty much all that happens in this video. I might have missed something. I don't think I have though. So, but yeah, now on to the topic of this video is why I like WoW and well, MMOs, and mainly WoW, because that's pretty much the only one I play. But just what I find really interesting about them, and why I find them so addictive, basically. For me, obviously, I like playing games, and I like games that take a lot of time, and you feel like you've achieved something after that time that you've spent on it. And WoW's definitely a game like that. The more time you spend on it, obviously, the more you get, the better your character is, or whatever. Depends on what you're doing. Say the more mounts you've collected, whatever you like to do on MMOs. If you spend time doing it, you'll eventually get you'll get rewarded for that. So that's something I like. Some games you can play for hours and hours and hours and not get anything, and all of a sudden everything, like all the rewards, come at once, and that's not fantastic. I think that's why I actually enjoy playing COD, like Modern Warfare 2, because you gradually, as you level up, as you play more, you unlock more stuff, and the more you use certain guns, the better attachments you get from and everything. I like that. I like being rewarded for actually playing a game, because at the end of the day, you've got to find it fun. So if you don't, for me, rewards are kind of something to work for. I think that's mainly what it is. Because in WoW, obviously, I have spent a hell of a lot of time playing it. So, and as you'd expect, I've got quite a lot to show for that time, which is good. I mean, some people, spend quite a bit of time, and maybe only have one character that they really, really love. But me personally, I've spent quite a lot of time on it, and I've got loads of characters that I really enjoy playing. And that's another thing that I bring up is variation in classes in WoW is ridiculously good. I started off, my first ever character was actually a warrior on my friend's account, just to try it out. When I got my first account, first character I made was a human mage. I went on Recruit a Friend with one of my friends, and we played, I think it was Mage and Rogue combo, which was probably the worst combo in the world, but you know, we leveled up slowly but surely. Eventually we done loads of others. I think we done Paladin Shaman was one of them. Both of these characters now, the Mage and the Shaman that I had. I think the other one was a Warrior. All three of these are really high level. The Mage and the Shaman are 85, the Warrior is like 75, something like that. So I'm kind of getting burnt out on that at the moment. But as I said, I've played a lot. I've leveled tons of characters. I'm not this kind of person. Like Total Biscuit, for example. He's stuck to his Mage the whole way through. I mean, he's dabbled in, he's made that Rogue to level 60 or whatever. He started doing that Shaman, which I don't think he ever played it that much, but mainly he's stuck to Mage, and you know, I think for me, I'd get really bored of that. Yeah, you'd know your class really well and everything, but eventually I'd get burnt out on that, just doing the same thing all the time. I think that's why for me it's fantastic that there's 10 classes in the game. I've got every single one of those classes above 70, I think, now. I think maybe just Rogue, which I haven't. It's like about 40, something like that. So I haven't really leveled one that much. But other than that, the other 9 are over 70, or 60 definitely, but maybe 70 as well. Can't exactly remember all of them. So yeah, I mean, I can jump on WoW and go, right, today I feel like doing this. And you know, jump on that character, play that for a little while, maybe I'll get bored. I'll just log off, or like log out of that character and go on to another one and play that for a little bit. I mean, most days that I have off, like today is my day off, I go on WoW, I say, right, I'm going to do this, but I never end up doing that because I get sidetracked. Say I'm playing my Hunter, doing a bit of PvP, so I love PvP on the Hunter, it's so good. And then, you know, I just see like a Warrior or something in my party going to town, or something like that, and that makes me think, I want to go and do that now. So I go on, switch on to my Warrior. I love Warrior, like Prot Warriors. They are probably one of my favourite classes in the game. It's the fact that, I don't know, just the way they tank. I think for me, the way they play is really nice. So quite smooth. You've always got something to do with a Warrior. That's what I love so much. Whereas like say a Paladin, sometimes you're waiting to press that next button, but with a Warrior you've literally, every time your global cooldown's off, you've got something to press, which is what I absolutely love about Warriors. They're so diverse as well, because you've got a lot of abilities with a Warrior that you can use in certain situations. Obviously now you've got their rend, and then when you thunderclap it spreads the rend to every character, every mob. That is fantastic. It's probably one of the best talents there is for me. So you know, as they've gone on, they've actually improved for me. In classic WoW they were the tank to have, and you know, for me still they are. I think they're my favourite tanking class. So yeah, as I said, variation is fantastic. There's a lot of casters, there's loads of healers, there's loads of tanks, there's loads of range DPS, there's loads of melee DPS, and they've all got different specs that they can use. Obviously healers and tanks don't, but DPSs do. Like for a Hunter you've always had the free specs. Mage, you've always got those free specs. Rogue as well, you've always got those free specs. Maybe you don't, like, they're not optimal, which is one of the only things I've got that I don't like about WoW. It's the fact that you've always got to be a certain spec to be optimal, which is a bit annoying, but the fact that there is that option for you to choose something else, maybe you can make up for it not being optimal if you know that spec really well. So that's, for me, is one of the things I really like. Possibly my favourite class is Shaman, and I love elemental DPS. It's fantastic. I've always been a big fan of like lightning spells, so that's probably why it is for me. So obviously like chain lightning and lightning bolt and everything, they look so nice. But yeah, elemental's not amazing DPS at the moment. I know if I went onto my mage I could do a crap ton more DPS than I can on my shaman, but for me, I love my shaman, and I've played it for quite a long time, like Hybrid Panda has, and you know, I managed to keep up with a mage, maybe not 100%. I'm not going equal DPS on them, but I mean it's not much in it, and for that slight, you know, decrease, I'd still love it. And it's the same with mages as well. Say you're spec into fire. If you've played fire since day one, you'd know how to use it. Personally, I spec arcane, always have done. It's fantastic DPS, but I've seen fire mages that can keep up with arcane mages, even though it's not the best spec for mages. Obviously arcane always will be, I think, just because of the fact that it's easy and it does ridiculous amounts of damage. If you can have enough mana regen, then you can cast arcane blast for a whole about like half an hour without going and you'll do ridiculous DPS with that. So, but in general, I mean, it's quite good, the variation of the classes, but there's obviously a few things wrong. You're never going to have a perfect system, so that's the only downfall really. Yeah, back on to good things. We want another good thing that WoW has is it has a lot of content. Literally, like, there's so much, there's always something for you to do, whether it be like more questing, because when you level up there you don't need to do all the zones to hit, you know, to get past that level and into the next zone. You don't, there's so many zones, obviously some horde, some alliance, which again makes for replayability because you can't do every single quest as an alliance or a horde. So some people don't like switching, but personally I don't mind. But then, even if you got one horde, one alliance character, there's still so much of the game that you would have missed out on. Obviously the starting areas to start with, and then obviously from that starting area there'll be following quests. They'll follow through certain areas and stuff, so you'll generally do those and you'll follow that path that it suggests to you. You know, some people won't obviously go where they want to go, and personally, since the Cataclysm comes out, I've leveled through a hell of a lot more zones, but I still haven't done them all. Still so many that I never did before Cataclysm, and there's still loads now that I haven't done after it either. So I mean, there's still loads of content that I haven't done, and I play it pretty much every day, or almost every day anyway. So that is probably one of the best things that it's got going for it at the moment, the amount there is to do. And obviously the PvP, although it's not like the best, it is good. I mean, obviously if you know your class well enough, then you'll do PvP well. If your reactions are good, you know what to do in certain situations, then you know, you'll find PvP quite easy. But I mean, I know like some of the classes I play quite well, but I don't know, it's just I don't really like PvPing with all classes. I think my favourite one is Hunter at the moment to PvP with, but I'm not the best Hunter in the world. It's just not a class I've played that much. My Hunter's like 66 or something like that, I think, so it's not like a super high one or anything, but I mean, I know enough about it to do well in battlegrounds and stuff, so I haven't ever done arenas. But yeah, there's content for everyone, and a lot of it. So personally, like me, I like leveling up characters. I do it all the time. I rarely, I mean occasionally, I'll gear up for like through heroics and do raids, but very rarely do I like raid. I've geared up quite a few characters in heroics and stuff before, but I don't, that's not my main focus when I play WoW, to be honest. My main focus is getting those characters up high levels, and you know, a lot of variation. That's what I enjoy about it. But still, I've got, as I said, I've easily got 2 of each class level, like reasonable level, and I still haven't played all the zones, haven't done all the quests that there is to do, so there's still a lot of content that I've got to experience. So, and then besides questing, there's obviously PvP, as I mentioned. There's 5-man dungeons, all different levels, or like, and then you got heroics, and then you got raids. You got the 10-mans, the 25-mans, the old ones are still in there. Some of them, not all of them now, see, because as they're updating things, some things get removed. But there are a lot of the old ones still in there, so I mean it's good that there is this much to do. There's even crafting if you want to do that. Like, a lot of people just take their profession to maximize like what they're doing. Like say PvE, there's certain professions that you want to take. Like dual crafting is one of the most popular because you can get the the bigger gems. Instead of having plus 40 intellect, you get plus 67. So as that stacks up, obviously you'll get a noticeable difference. So that's quite a popular one. Enchanting's another popular one because you can get enchants that you can't normally get unless you take it. Like I think you can enchant rings and stuff, so you can't do that without that. So that's obviously a good bonus. But then it depends. Some are money making, obviously, like mining. You can sell everything you collect. Blacksmithing, like all that sort of stuff. Where you make items, you can sell them for a lot of money. So it varies what you want to do. So there's so much to do. I don't know. I think that's about obviously collecting items as well. Some people like to collect old armor sets. Some people like to collect companion pets. Some people like to collect mounts and stuff. And then you got the achievement system as well now. So there's literally always something to do, which is probably for me why it's so good. Because I can always log on and achieve something, whether it's a level, an achievement, or a piece of gear. Just something. There's always something that you can achieve quite easily. So, and the story is reasonably good. I mean, it's not as fantastic as say Final Fantasy or something like that, because they, you can kind of script Final Fantasy because you know that they're going to go down that path. But whereas, well, it's kind of condensed to that zone slightly. I mean, not normally like all the Northrend was all sculpted around the Lich King and all stuff like that, but generally the story has got to be in that zone and nowhere else, because if you have it travelling between zones, some people might miss part of the story, so you can't have a huge in-depth story, but each zone's got its little story. So I mean that's quite a good thing. They do cross over sometimes, like really vaguely, just to join the two zones together if you happen to quest from one to the other. But I mean most of them have their own little story and they're quite interesting. Some of them are anyway, not all of them are fantastic, but I mean I think it is Eastern Plaguelands now, I think it is. That's got a pretty nice story running the whole way through it. If you actually read the quest text, which I know a lot of people don't do. Oldham, another example, has got a fantastic quest line. I love that zone. It's probably my favourite zone from the Cataclysm. Hyjal, again, it's got a really good story for it. I mean, they're not like single player RPG storylines, they're not huge, like in depth, but still they are enough to interest me to, keep questing through that zone and, be interested in it, which is a lot, which is valuable, really. So if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then obviously you won't do it. So most of the quests aren't what you do in the quests, isn't what interests me, because normally they're quite boring. You've got to kill a certain amount of this, collect that, they're pretty standard stuff and repeated over and over again, but getting that bit of story I think makes it a little bit more interesting for me. So that gets me through the kind of boring quests that they are. But again, if you don't want a quest, you can always level through dungeons, which is more viable than it ever has been before. Because obviously you've got quests now. At the moment I'm doing Recruit a Friend, and we're the triple XP, and we're in a level 25 guild with obviously the fast track buff, which gives you an extra 10% XP. We can easily get like from 15 to 20 in one dungeon. It's absolutely insane. Dead Mines, you go in at 15 and you get to level 20 when you come out of it. You go into another dungeon and then you can pretty much get to 25 coming out of that. It's normally like Shadowfang Keep, I think it is. And then the next one, obviously you don't get as many levels, but still you easily get 1 to 2 levels every single dungeon that you do, up until around, I'd say 30, 35, something like that, and then it kind of slows down a little bit, but still, it's still pretty high. So, and PvP, you can level through that now with battlegrounds and stuff. That XP is not fantastic, it will be slower, but still, it's, if that's what you want to do, you can level through that. So there's a lot of ways to get to where you want to be. So it's another fantastic thing. Only thing really what I find wrong with it is the fact that there is only one spec that's viable for each. Let's say you want to be a mage in PvE content, you've got to be arcane really to be optimum. Well, that's kind of the only thing that I've got that I think's wrong with it. The fact that there is no variation in specs that you can do to be optimal in what you want to do. I think that's a bit of a shame. There should be, you know, more than one option. They should try and balance out the specs, especially with the all DPS classes like that. Obviously with, say, like a warrior, there's all three specs are from completely different things. Fury is PvE DPS, Prot is obviously PvE tanking, and Arms is generally used for PvP. So that's quite clear cut. The same with Death Knights. I think Blood is tank, Frost is DPS, Unholy normally PvP but can be DPS as well. So there is an option there. Depends what kind of DK you want to be. But it is literally for Hunter, for Mage. I think Warlock is pretty similar as well. There is literally a certain spec that you have to follow and a certain type of mage you have to be, or a certain type of hunter. I think it's marksman at the moment. It used to be survival before they got a little nerf. So there is literally always one that will be mathematically higher in damage and everything than the others. So that is a little problem that actually I don't think will ever get sorted out, because I don't think they want to. They you know, it is obviously impossible to balance it 100%, so every class is as good at their role. So, you know, I think it would be nice, but being realistic, it's not going to happen. So, but that is pretty much the only problem I've got with it. So yeah, that's pretty much been my look at why I think WoW is one of my favourite games out there. And if you haven't checked it out, which most of you probably have by now, if you've been alive for the last few years, you will have tried it at some point. But yeah, if you haven't, definitely give it a go. You can get a free trial, and you know, you get to, I think it's level 20 you get to go to now. So if you don't like it, fair enough, but I definitely recommend giving it a go. Trying a few different classes just to find your grasp on World of Warcraft, because a lot of people prefer different classes. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.